Hi math friends, and welcome to part 1 of our integer series. Today we will learn how to add integers. These are the rules to adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. Like I said, today we will focus on adding same signs and adding different signs. So if you want, you can go ahead and screenshot these rules for your records. A little vocabulary for you. Negative integers are whole numbers less than 0. So on the number line, anything left of 0 we consider to be negative. And negative numbers are represented with this kind of dash or minus sign in front of the whole number. Again, negative numbers less than 0. Positive numbers are opposite negative numbers. Positive numbers are whole numbers greater than 0. Positive numbers on the number line are to the right of 0 and usually are just represented with the whole number. So you won't see a positive or plus sign in front of the whole number. If you see a whole number, you just automatically assume that that whole number is a positive number. Now, 0 is neither positive nor negative. Some of our rules mention absolute value. The absolute value of a number talks about the number of units away from 0 on the number line. So if we look at positive 1, it's how many units away. So if we jump from 0 to 1, it's one whole jump. So the absolute value of positive 1 is 1 because it's 1 unit away from 0. If we were to look at positive 3, it's 1, 2, 3 units from 0. So the absolute value of positive 3 is 3. Going the opposite way on the number line, if we look at negative 1, the absolute value of negative 1 is 1 because it's 1 unit from 0. If we were to look at negative 5, we would jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units from 0. So the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. Absolute value is always positive or 0. And the way that we read this is the absolute value of 15 is 15. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. The absolute value of 0 is 0. Absolute value is always positive or 0. Opposite integers, it's just that, the opposite. So the opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. So negative 1 and 1 are opposite integers. Positive 7 and negative 7 are opposite integers. So one integer is positive and one integer is negative. All right, let's dive into adding same sign integers. So over to the left here, we have the rules to adding same signs. The first thing we're going to do is actually add the integers. After we get the sum, we're going to keep the sign because the signs are the same. So if we look at positive 29 plus positive 32, when we add those two numbers together, we get 61. All right. Now, these both are positive numbers, so our sum will be positive. Okay. In our next example, we have negative 16 plus negative 5. Looking at our rules, the first thing we're going to do is add the integers. So 16 plus 5 gives us 21. And then we're going to keep the signs. All right, so we have a negative sign here and a negative sign here. Therefore, our sum will also be negative. Okay? I hope this is making sense to you. The next example we have is negative 23 plus negative 8. Again, we're going to add the integers and then keep the sign. All right, 23 plus 8 gives us 31. And then we're going to keep the negative sign. All right, so the sum of negative 23 plus negative 8 is negative 31. All right, so now I want you to try this. Pause the video and see if you can work negative 18 plus negative 8. All right, again, we're going to first add the integers and then we are going to keep the sign. So 18 plus 3 gives us 21. And because our signs are both negative, our sum will also be negative. All right, here's another one for you to try. Pause the video and try to work it out. All right, again, we have two positive numbers, so we're going to add 22 plus 5, which gives us 27. And both of our numbers are positive, so our sum will also be positive. All right, let's jump into adding integers with different signs. Now this one is a little bit trickier. Even though we have this plus sign and we know we're going to add, you're actually going to subtract the integers because we have a positive number and we have a negative number. So our signs now are different. So the rule is when you have different signs, you're going to subtract the integers and then you're going to take the sign of the largest absolute value. Keeping in mind that absolute values are always positive. So we're going to take that sign. All right. So we have 32 or positive 32 plus negative 15. Positive 32 plus negative 15. According to our rules, we're going to subtract. And we know that 32 minus 15 gives us 17. All right. And we learned that the absolute value of 32, which would be the number of units away from 0, would be 32. The absolute value of 15, meaning that negative 15 is 15 units away from 0, and keeping in mind that absolute value is always positive, we know that 32 is greater than 15, and our 32 here is a positive number, so our 17, our answer, is also going to be positive. All right. In our next example here, we have negative 19 plus positive 13. Again, our signs are different. Therefore, we're going to subtract the integers because our rules tell us that. So we're going to subtract 19 from 19 minus 13, and we're going to get 6. All right. And then we're going to look at the absolute value. So the absolute value of negative 19 is 19. And the absolute value of positive 13 is positive 13. Well, we know that positive 19 is greater than positive 13. So our absolute value of 19 is negative. So our answer will be negative. All right. Again, our next example, positive 14 plus negative 10. Our signs are different, so we are going to subtract. 14 minus 10 is 4 because we are subtracting. We're going to take the greater absolute value. So the absolute value of 14 is 14, and the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. We know that 14 is greater than 10, so we're going to take the sign of the largest absolute value, which is positive. So positive 14 plus a negative 10 gives us a positive 4. All right. And then in our final example here, we have a negative 19 plus a positive 6. Our signs are different. We are going to subtract. 19 minus 6 gives us 13. All right. We know that the absolute value of negative 19 is 19. And we know the absolute value of 6 is 6. And we know that 19 is greater than 6. So we're going to take the sign of our largest absolute value, which is negative. So a negative 19 plus 6 equals negative 13. All right, it's your turn to try. We have positive 12 plus negative 3. Don't forget to follow your rules over here on the left. Pause this video and see if you can solve. Okay, so again, we have positive 12 plus negative 3. Our signs are different, so we are going to subtract. 12 minus 3 will give us 9. The absolute value of 12 is 12. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. We know that 12 is greater than 3. So we're going to take the sign of our 12, which is positive, which means that our answer will be positive. All right, we have negative 5 plus 17. Go ahead and pause this video and see if you can solve. Again, we have negative 5 plus 17. Our signs are different, so we are going to subtract. 17 minus 5 gives us 12. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. The absolute value of positive 17 is 17. We know that 17 is greater than 5, so we're going to take the sign of this 17 because it's the larger absolute value. So our answer will be a positive 12. All right. And then try positive 3 plus negative 25. Pause this video and see if you can solve. All right. So we have positive 3 plus negative 25. Our signs are different, so we are going to subtract. 25 minus 3 gives us 22. And then we're going to take the sign of the largest absolute value. The absolute value of negative 25 is 25 because it's always positive. And the absolute value of 3 is 3. 25 is greater than 3. So we're going to take the negative sign because it has the largest absolute value. So 3 plus negative 25 gives us a negative 22. All right, guys, I hope that this video was beneficial to you and it was helpful. I want to thank you for watching, and please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when we upload a new video. Our next part 2 in our integer series will be subtracting integers. Please follow us on Instagram at EEIS_tutoring. You can leave us a comment there. If you don't understand a concept or an operation, just let us know there and we will do our best to upload a video to help you. You can also follow us on Facebook at Early Education Intervention Service. Until next time, guys, bye.